Hello, comrade, and welcome back to Canada. That is true. We got a little lost last time, so don't worry if you're not sure where you are. Welcome to Canada! Go Mooses! As you can see, we've been busy. If you'd like to see the entire journey as well as the mods we'll be using in this run, the party has made the relevant materials available in this video's description. Viewer discretion is not permitted. Now that we have weaponized comedy against the Type A's, we can put the fun back into fundamentally just a game about managing various interlocking spreadsheets. Now, our fledgling economy is currently making only the smallest of profits, but as you are aware by now, this anti-Soviet behavior cannot be allowed to continue. Thankfully, both our tourists and citizens alike are hungry alcoholic hippos and are rapidly eating and drinking their way through our bottom line. The only real way to offset these costs is by producing all these goods domestically. This process requires first growing crops, and then turning these into requirements like booze and some other Soviet luxuries, like food. However, these production chains are expensive to set up, not just because of the buildings required, but also because of the enormous upfront vehicle costs. As such, we need another way to make some money, and quickly. One solid option will be to produce some of the building materials we'd need anyway in order to expand. We can sell back the excess when not needed, and they tend to be a rather reliable source of income even into the late game. There are 7 primary construction materials in Soviet skylines, namely gravel, concrete, asphalt, bricks, boards, prefabricated panels, and steel. The last 2 of which are locked behind research requirements. We don't use these materials in equal amounts at all, but of the ones we can produce right now, bricks, boards, and gravel are the most accessible to us. We can also cut down on truck fuel costs by mixing the concrete and asphalt locally. Thus, our new glorious 5-year plan becomes clear. We will offset the costs of our tourism industry as much as possible by 1970. To facilitate this, we will have to first build out our capacity to, well, build. And from there, we will construct everything needed to support our friends from, Vancouver. Da, it will be good. My god, it's already July. We are 6 months behind schedule, and the plan hasn't even been written yet. At least we've got the historical accuracy down, right? Right? Before we can do anything else, we're going to need to do a little light landscaping first. Ah, much better. Seeing as we already have coal, water, and sewage being handled nearby, the brick factory will be the first to go down. An accompanying open storage lot, as well as all the associated conveyors, roads, waste facilities, bus stops, and footpaths were planned out too. Nothing's easy around here, is anyway, while we wait for the roads to come together, we can also go around and do a little micromanagement. For one, the coal plant absolutely does not need to be running during the summer, and so we'll set it to switch back to accepting workers only if the temperature drops below 18 Celsius. That's 64.4 freedom height for my 18th century viewers. I tweaked a few settings in the construction offices, and then did a little detail work around the town. Things were looking a little sad, and now they spark joy. So much joy, in fact, that our world-class researchers at the Sasquatch City Technical University had yet another stroke of true genius, and figured out that if you hit rocks hard enough, you can find out what's inside them. Okay, Faculty of Geology is actually huge, because that means we can now do geological mapping, and we can figure out where on this map the resources actually are. Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion the map designer will have put them up in the islands to make it a little bit more of like a clear progression from the corner upwards. But hopefully there's something on the mainland we could use. I guess we'll find out soon. Well, by soon I mean in like 600 years. Then there was nothing to do but wait for our economy to hurry up and brick itself up by its brick straps. Unfortunately, no amount of creative accounting by the party planning committee could stretch our tourism income far enough to cover the costs of the build. A new loan of 250,000 rubles was secured, and would need the brick factory complete, 2 new flatbed trucks were required to sell our bricks to the border, alongside a larger bus to move workers to the new factory bus stop. We also picked up another It's All About How You Use It bus to make sure we'd always have enough people in our heating plant. After that, it was just a matter of setting up the routes and waiting for our orange gold future to build itself. We can unassign these export trucks whenever we want to stockpile bricks for construction, and so this system is quite versatile. Not long after, the first snows of 1965 brought all our vehicles to a crawl. Our best bet to weather this weather would be to just turtle up, do some more research, and wait for the thaw in February. Our second best bet would be to flashbang the audience by planning in the snow. Sorry, not sorry. 3 gravel quarries would provide all the raw quarried stone we'd need, probably. These are best paired with a nice fuel station and distribution office for flavor to cut down on the amount of time the machines spend refueling, as everything involved in this process is painfully slow moving. Next up were the asphalt, concrete, and gravel loading stations. These will be at the end of the production chain, and so putting them down first gives us an idea of how much space is needed behind them. A lot, it turns out. A large aggregate storage yard will buffer the gravel, and our very first patches of sweet Colombian black tar asphalt will ensure a speedy delivery. After that, we'll need to turn the large quarry rocks into slightly smaller rocks. Turns out, hitting him with another rock does you real good, innit? This breakthrough in geological disassembly was followed up shortly by an even more explosive discovery. We could make the bang boom. What does bang boom sell for? Sell price. Nuclear fuel's definitely where the money is. Clothes, pretty solid. Okay. Chinese fireworks, pretty near. And pretty stable, by the look of it. We might have a new plan ahead. What does it need? Wood, gravel, chemicals. We could make that work. So it costs 0.75 tons of chemicals to make 1 ton of explosives. What's the return on that? 1,500. So we're almost doubling our money. Almost. We'd have to ship these in until we can make them, but that's tempting. You know what? You know what? You know what? And then to wrap it all up, it was time for every South African's wildest dream. Municipal service delivery boot. Them oaks are coming with the trucks, man. And Happy New Year's. Too bad the fireworks factory over there is still closed for maintenance and is not ready yet. In fact, to be honest, very little was. I guess we're just gonna have to hurry up and wait, but not before we remember to link up that industrial water line for the concrete plant. This doesn't actually need to be treated water, but I'm way too cheap to run a whole new line. 6 months and 170,000 rubles later, we had 3 empty buildings and a new pipeline. Now that's Soviet efficiency, baby. We should probably see about actually doing something with them, though. And so a few new excavators, dump trucks, and a fuel truck will probably do the trick. The excavators dig up the rock to fill the dump trucks. These then ferry it along the road over to the aggregate storage set up to allow only quarried stone into it. A conveyor belt feeds this into the gravel refinery, which in turn sends it forward to the next storage, which is configured to receive gravel. This massive 2,000-ton buffer will be the lifeblood of this whole republic, as just about every single thing in the game needs some combination of gravel, asphalt, and concrete to build at a minimum. However, all of this shopping came at a cost. Namely, well, all of our money. And since our electricity is still being imported, that means we lost power too. But please do not fear, my friends. Magic and I, we are South African. We know what to do. Debt. The solution is tremendous government debt. After that last piece of the puzzle fell into place, the asphalt plant would need a bitumen delivery to it, and the concrete plant would need cement. Finally, a pedestrian footpath was measured out to make use of the existing bus stop. Asphalt paths are now an option for us and are way faster to move around on for our little citizens. These give them a big old walking speed boost and even let them travel a little farther as a result. With the first 2 phases of the 5-year plan finally complete, we could turn our attention to the next major milestone, which is actually turning a profit. This would mean making goods to sell, and what better wares than, well, fireworks. We now made the majority of the materials needed to actually build this factory in-house, and we were only really missing boards, which we'll do next, steel, which we can't do at the moment, and mechanical components, which no one in history has ever done. Boards are so cheap that they're almost not worth doing normally, but since we need the logs anyway for the fireworks factory, we might as well just plan them out for now, and then hold off on the sawmill construction. I assume they're using it to make charcoal. I don't know, though. A few painful purchases later, and we had a logging industry either way. With winter right around the corner, and our finances looking almost comically low, it seemed like a good time to turtle up a little bit and just wait out the snow. Our tourists are bringing in a pretty consistent 21,000 rubles a month, which is just about keeping the city running if we don't build anything. So, naturally, we started building something. Our republic was still drowning under the tyranny of the child, and in order to free ourselves from them, we'd need to give them somewhere new to live. The university had also finally figured out what rocks are, and so we set them the task of finding out where all the bauxite is at. Then it was just a matter of waiting out the winter while doing some much-needed maintenance work on all of our peripheral vehicles. Soon we're gonna have to do this to the buildings, and I am not looking forward to it. With the snows of 66 finally behind us, it was time to start making some serious moolah. That's right, baby! It's a bang boom time!
Peter, what are you doing?
Speaking Italian.
It's a bang boom time! By July of 1967, we were finally ready to begin production. A small, one-slot distribution office was slapped down to ferry chemicals from the border to the neighboring warehouse, and one of our flatbed trucks was reassigned to move the required lumber. Fast forward a few weeks, and the first truck, laden with 11,000 rubles of validation, rolled out of the factory loading bays and right into our wallets. Now, it would take a decade or so before this production chain even paid for itself, and it was probably the single worst option reasonably available to us. But sometimes, you gotta do things for the memes.
You can't speak Italian just because you have a mustache.
And now for something completely different.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good at all. These guys, they can't reach the hospital. The ambulances will be able to get there, but when this is full, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up with that. That's not good at all. Ooh, and our tourists can't reach a hospital either. That's bad. Okay. Even just one person not being able to reach it can quickly become like 500 people not being able to reach it. Look at that. If we have a pandemic or something that breaks out, that is an option. It's a possibility. Why aren't you getting food? What the hell's wrong with this place? Some tourists are without service. Oh, there's not enough people going down there to work? What's your connectivity like? Are you not linked up to... You're linked up to like every building. This place I closed. I closed this hotel completely just because the little minibus we had run into it wasn't worth the... It wasn't bringing in enough money, rather. It was better to spend those workers elsewhere so they were working full shifts in places that produce much more. Because like a hotel with 45 tourists is going to make you a lot more money for the same number of like staff slots being occupied than a hotel with 3. So that one's just being closed until we can figure out what we're doing with sort of this piece of the city here. But we definitely need a clinic over here. So we could probably stall another month or two, maybe even half a year, but with a bit of cash coming in now, look at that with green last month, 14k over. I think we've got to go. I think we've got to go a little bit. No, that's the university. Where is it? Where is it? I need the hospital. A small clinic. 4.3 tons of steel. It's manageable. I think we put this right here, and then that'll just link this side of the city up to healthcare, which I think is probably a good idea. Let's put that right there. Oh yeah, and you look at this. This tourist bus is half full on the way back. That's no good. That means we're not accommodating all the tourists who want to come here, and that means that we need to shuffle priorities. So right now, this is allowed to go wherever it wants. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I want all of you to work here, 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 and then wherever else you like. In fact, I will take out the carousel and the art gallery and all the other attractions. Just so basically everyone who lives here work in hotels or wherever else you like. We can split that up a bit, and that just guarantees we've got a bit more flow into these spaces. And we can add things like the restaurant and stuff. And I've done that a little bit here. As you can see, I've been tweaking where people work, so they work very close to where they live. It's not the best idea to do this because if you miss something, you can kind of crash your city. But they've added this new feature which allows you to send people to like other buildings, just generic, go wherever you like sort of thing. And that's been amazing. Okay, see, here we go. Now we're filling back up. But now we just got to keep an eye on the city to make sure that these guys weren't the ones running the shopping center or something, because then everyone starts starving. Since we were firmly back in hurry up and wait territory, and with the winter fast approaching, a decision was made to begin the rather arduous process of upgrading some of our footpaths to be asphalt. This allows citizens to travel much further and should help distribute labor around the city a lot more evenly. The party planning committee will keep working on this in the background while we tackle a far more serious issue: statues. Okay, another major issue I have noticed here is that we have a pretty major loyalty problem. If you say that low loyalty to the government, 1,652 people in this city hate our guts. Now, I don't know what their problem is. I will have them know that the Sasquatch City party planning committee happens to care about them very deeply. But apparently, that's not good enough for a lot of these average schmoes floating around here. But you'll see how they feel when their farmland belongs to us. But they were a couple steps ahead. We're not breaking character just yet. Instead, we give them what they really want. Not food, not jobs, not money or consistent economic stability. No. Statues. Yes. As you can see, just being near one of these monstrosities right over here gives them a permanent and lasting loyalty influence buff. Month after month. The children's playground, it's basically a propaganda screen. So this is what we're committing to here. I hope there's no uncertainty in your mind as to exactly what we're going to be spending the next several days doing here. And it looks like the best bang for your steel is the Soviet symbol in concrete and copper. Of all the things, huh? Wow, look at that. The Red Star Monument, 5.2%. Lenin just straight vibing in the corner, 4.5. Listen. Big L. You gotta build this near their houses. That's another big part of this. They gotta walk past it, I think. Or live near it. I don't remember exactly how this works. I think they have to either be near it or walk past it every day. So I feel like putting one next to the bus stop, if it's a walk past kind of situation, seems like a good idea. Okay, the first of the statues has been built, and now if you hover over it, it shows a highlight of everyone who's getting the loyalty buff. So I suppose it's people who work at and live in these structures get 2.2% increase to their loyalty, and as you can see, happiness is increasing slightly. So yeah, to the commenter who said, where are the statues, comrade? Thank you for the comment, because, well, we found them. We've got Big Lenin silhouette, framing Russia. Almost perfectly. Yes, there we go. Just the way it should be, right next to not Vancouver.
Step 4. Now quickly, swipe your middle finger down so that...
And it's winter. Don't be fooled by the positive-looking bank balance. We're flat broke. The party can neither confirm nor deny whether or not an increase in loan balance is being used to keep the city afloat. However, in keeping with tradition, this meant it was time to plan our next harebrained scheme. A Shein sweatshop. How the Aisha? How do you pronounce Shein? Shein, thank you. A Shein sweatshop. This could be slapped down within walking distance of the bus stop and, while it will cause a little pollution, should be another important link in our economic chain. All our shiny new factory needed was a pair of shiny new trucks to ferry resources between it, our retail warehouse, and the border. A few quick task designations later, and we were ready to start dropshipping. The clothing industry is definitely the one that we should have gone with, insofar as you should do anything in a sandbox game. It's also definitely the most beginner-friendly industry, so if you're following along at home and you don't want to try your hand at being an oil baron, this is the one I'd recommend choosing at the start. The clothing factory converts fabrics into clothes at an exactly 2-to-1 ratio and provides some serious profits in return. If you can fully stop the building, you can make some meaningful cash early, and it just about doubles your money for each trade. What we really needed now was more people to run the factory, and so a few more denizens of the less enlightened nations were permitted to settle in Canada. Unfortunately, we are still suffering beneath the tyranny of the child, and so a second kindergarten was planned to alleviate the burden of parenthood from the 11% or so of the population currently unable to work and beholden to their minuscule whims. By May of 1968, we had produced enough clothing for the shipping truck to leave port for the very first time. Well, that's a little underwhelming for our first export, but the 3 pairs of socks that we have not had to store for our own citizens' use will definitely help repay the inordinate costs we've incurred to set up this industry. That was definitely worth it. No mistakes were made, no regret, none whatsoever. Sasquatch City thrives. The haters are feasting on nothing. They're feasting on air. We clearly needed to turtle up at this point and just allow that loan to settle down. The fine citizens of Canada kept themselves busy improving and upgrading the city's infrastructure in the meantime. Oh no. Oh no, Your Majesty. The Queen. Your Majesty. Oh no, oh god, oh no. Oh god, oh god, you got AirPods in. Oh no, the Queen. And, well, something must be working. As the first snows of 1968 fell, our finances soared. All the improvements to Sasquatch City's connectivity have cut down on the travel time and bumped that tourism industry all the way up to almost 45,000 rubles for some months. Unemployment has reached 0% and our imports are thriving. We even managed to reduce the loan from 750,000 rubles to 600. If we can survive this winter, we might just be able to pull this off. And would you look at that? It's 1969. Nice. And we're feeling fine. With our finances somewhat stable and our infrastructure looking much, much better, one might be tempted to call this branch of the 5-year plan a success. If one were to do so, however, they would likely find themselves holding a one-way ticket to the Siberian summer camp. If you recall, our plan for this budget line was to make our tourism entirely self-sufficient, and we have entirely failed to do this thus far. In order to pull this off, we'd need to engage in some truly Soviet behavior. Farming. Okay, but unironically here, we do need to actually start producing the things that tourists need, which is pretty... It's all from the same raw resource, but there's a couple production change involved here. We need to make food, alcohol, and meat, all of which are created by crops, or rather fueled by crops. So the distillery takes crops, makes alcohol. The food factory takes crops, makes food. And of course, the livestock farm, there we go, takes crops and makes livestock. You don't have to butcher them in a slaughterhouse in order to produce meat. So we need to find a suitable location where we can ship workers out to do this. And I think we need to do a little bit more deforestation. I think I need to find some relatively flat land. And honestly, this is looking pretty good right here. This might be where we plop down the farms. Yeah, I'm thinking that could work, and then we could build out this way, build our sort of food processing center here. We can use workers from this city to fuel it. Do we have enough people? Maybe not. I think, yeah, I think these factories are kind of keeping everybody pretty busy. And we're going to want to keep them there. So this might actually be a case of we build another small village in order to do this. But either way, we are going to need to get this started. So let's grab farms and get to building. After a little platonic flattening,
The old flattener.
the area just east of the city was ready for some sensual town planning. Our little food factory would need to produce 3 main products: food, alcohol, and meat. All of these factories take crops as an input and can be linked to storage silos as a buffer. The first 2 facilities, food and booze, are pretty straightforward and can both be stored into the same warehouse, but meat requires its own production chain. A meat storage facility will be connected to a slaughterhouse, which is connected to a livestock pen, which is connected to the livestock farm, which is connected to the hip bone. Then came the wonderful job of expanding out the city's already limping utilities to cover the new areas. Before we could do anything at all with our corn cobs, salacious or otherwise, we'd first need to find a suitable spot to actually grow them. Fields in this game are pretty forgiving about elevation and can be safely placed on a hill or other steep features. A large farm can support a little over 12 big fields, and so, naturally, I planned for 14. Remember kids, Soviet excess begins at home. A large crop silo would be where we buffer our grain before shipping it back up to the production center. We've also added a small fertilizer tank and all the usual utilities you've come to know and loathe. (1969's first snow came with a nasty reminder that we'd need to build another technical services office. When will the madness end? In 1970, hopefully. After setting up the distribution offices, the construction yards were set to work on the farm itself.
Oh god, here comes the steel. Oh god, here comes, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh no, oh god, oh fuck, oh no, 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 okay. Damn it. Oh, we haven't had to touch the loans in so long. Oh, we paid off nearly 200k that time around. Okay, so if I take out like 460, and then I can just pay this off with what's left, maybe? Let's see. Okay. So that should all be paid out. 460, we owe 460. Is it still gonna go? Oh god, I'm gonna have to take another load. No. Oh, it stopped. It stopped. Okay. Okay. Oh, the steel. 50,000 rubles worth of steel. But yeah, the steel should be en route. There's the first batch arriving now. Lovely, lovely. Oh, no, we hit 0. Okay, but we can't hit 0. The whole thing falls apart if we hit 0. So, I guess I'm borrowing 500. I'm paying off as much as I can, I guess. There we go. There's minus the late payment. Okay, we got 40k to work with. Jesus, what a month.
Now our recent expansion has opened up 2 new regions for naming. The party has decided to open the decision to the public.
Okay, so building out this far has actually given us 2 new regions we need to rename, and I think it would be appropriate if the people of Canada, the fine people down in the comment section of Canada, would like to take a swing at naming these. So we have one over here in the very, very corner. Very much in the I was going to say the viewing chair, but that might be a different genre of the Republic over here. In the, what is that, the southeastern corner, and then just a little bit north of it, we've got a second location. What would you call those if you had the choice? Because you do. Right now, it's all you.
Leave your name suggestions down in the comments below, and the option with the highest number of likes after the first week will be chosen. Farming, like many other industries in workers and resources, follows a multi-step process. Because at this point, f*** me. Tractors will first roll out and sow seeds into the fields. Once this is done, they'll do another pass with the artificial fertilizer to improve the soil's nutrient capacity. Once autumn hits and the crops are ready for harvest, the combine harvesters will collect the crops and unceremoniously dump them on the floor. Which brings us to the final stage, pickup. Cover trucks will visit the fields and bring anything they find to the farm where, in our case, it will get dumped in a silo. While all that nonsense goes on in the background, we should probably get started on the actual production end of things. A quick 200,000 ruble top-up should get us moving along more quickly, And an even quicker peek at the Imports tab tells us that food should be our first priority. With the factory built, we now needed a way to move the crops around. Turns out, if you just slap some wheels on a silo, it makes for the perfect transport vehicle. While we wait for the harvest to pitch up, we should probably do a little maintenance on our population demographics.
We've got a bit of a population crisis here. We have 360 people who are living with their parents, and therefore not doing anything.
I feel personally attacked.
I don't think they work if they're 21 plus without a flat. I don't think they work. I don't know for sure, but I do know they will eventually leave the country. So we don't want that to happen. So we'll build this big Stalinka over here, as well as, of course, a picture of not so Stalinka. And maybe that solves the problem if there is one. I don't know how this game works. Also, I know that's a problem. We were down to 490. We're never getting out of the money hole. The thing about the money hole is you're always in the money hole. When you think you're not in the money hole, you're wrong. You're just slightly further up the slope of the money hole.
Man, we build pretty quick now, huh? Here's hoping the heating plant can actually keep up with all of this. That's called foreshadowing. With the harvest now well underway, we'd need some of those trucks we spoke about. 4 more of those massive silos would certainly do the trick, and work out way cheaper than the dozens of trucks we'd need to move the equivalent amount piece by piece. One short trip later, and we had our very first batch of home cooking on the way, which led to quite possibly the single most satisfying part of this entire game.
Oh, that's got to be one of the best feelings in this game. Not buying food anymore. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good. 20 tons already. Oh, that is good stuff, man. That's real good stuff. Oh, we're rich. Oh, baby, we're rich. Look at that. Hundreds of tons. I mean, that's like 800 tons just from one field. More. Yeah, we're gonna be fine. We're probably gonna need. Oh, those silos will work at it over the winter. But yeah, we're gonna struggle to process all that. So we can definitely amp this up.
Which, in turn, left us with only the meat and booze production lines to deal with. Since everything else was already planned out, it was really just a matter of getting it built before the year ended. And barely, just barely, we made it. It's official. As of 1970, Canada is self-sufficient on gravel, crops, food, booze, and meat, entirely self-contained. To celebrate, the Party Planning Committee decided to return to tradition and string up some Christmas lights. Do not adjust your telescreen, comrade. The date you see before you is indeed correct. It's 1971, and we have officially imported 0 food, alcohol, clothing, or meat. The 5-year plan was a success. Good thing they never specified if those years were inclusive or not. However, our republic is still decidedly within the woods. Those heating pipes we cheaped out on a decade ago are finally causing us trouble. We're still heavily in debt, and I've somehow misplaced my babushka. Well, maybe it's not all bad. Despite the sheer scale of what we've already accomplished, we've still only scratched the surface of what this game has to offer. Entire industrial production chains still remain untouched and unexplored. If you'd like to see a part 3 of this series, let us know down in the comments. Leaving a like and bullying that subscribe button into submission is also the quickest way to let Magic and I know, and I suppose more importantly the YouTube algorithm, that you want to see more of this. Thanks for watching, comrade. And as always, we'll be watching. Connected to the hip bone, connected to the hip bone, all the shit in your body connected to the hip bone. Goddamn, that's a big bone here. That's alright, it's time for a bang boom. Mamma mia, it's a time for a bang-a-booma. Psychiatric evaluation. It's just every time. Why do I always do this after midnight, man? It is 12:27 a.m. 0027. Holla at ya. Oh, guys, like actual brainworms. Like, they are burrowing through the wrinkles. There's so few wrinkles left, let's be honest. They've eaten it smooth. I like this. I like this. This is good for me. This is good for my long-term health. After that, all the last pieces of the puzzle fell into place. The asphalt plant would need a bitumen delivery to it. Hey, what the f did you just say to me? What you calling me now? A bitumen, eh? Listen, I'm ook for less than that, okay? You don't call me a bitumen. Only I call me a bitumen. Sorry. The four-ways just crawled out of me. I wasn't ready for that. And to wrap it all up, it was time for every South African's wildest dream. Municipal service delivery. Wikkes van der Merwe. Hey, Wikkes, you f***ing the prawns, man. Wikkes, you bro, you f***ing the prawns now, huh? What, I need to go to bed. The 5-year plan was a success. Good thing they never specified if those years were inclusive or not. It's really good bureaucratic favor in that case, you know. So hard to riff with the accent. It's like another man is standing inside my mouth and I'm trying to talk around him. I don't know. Does that make are those words that sane people say? I don't think so. They're gonna do studies on this. They're gonna do studies on this B-roll. We should bury it. It should never see the light of day. The quantum entanglement cow. Holy shit. This has got to be our members thanks outro reel magic. You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations and thank you. That puts you in the top 3% of viewers. Here's another video that YouTube thinks you're going to like, and here is a list of all the patron and channel member names. If you don't see yours on there, you can find a link down in the description where you can sign up and support this content directly. If your name is on there, well, you probably already know that, huh? So, what are you still doing here?